Okay, so I'm at the Facebook 360, and the URL is just up here. You would just really Google it and it'll come up right away. The spatial workstation 360, and it's free software. And you go through the page and you can see an example video, and that uses this kind of technique. And they probably used a microphone.
They were inspired to give life to one of America's best ideas.
Whatever's going on here. So you can, yeah, they probably used a 360-degree microphone and then maybe sweetened it up with other stuff. I don't know what this is, a National Geographic video. And then here's the downloads. So if you are on AAX, I believe is a Pro Tools plugin. Probably don't care to get the older versions, but they left them there. And then there's VST for Windows and Mac. So you would grab for whatever operating system you're using, and we're going to be using these in Reaper, the audio software, because that program in particular handles multi channels quite well out of the box. So after the thing has been downloaded, I'm in the folder of the spatial workstation, and there's a little guide here. And this is recommended reading. It does get confusing with some of the formats, but overall it's good. And then there's videos in the group. So I'm going to open up the Reaper file, and that is located here. So what's going to happen in the Reaper is they give you an example of how you would lay out a spatialization track. So up here is a mono source, and if we were creating our own kind of fictional soundscape and we found a way to animate things in 360-degree video, this monotype channel is very useful, because I'm going to go to the effects of SPAT1, and you can do an automation of the sound source moving around. My screen is sort of cut off. Yeah. Okay, so I can do animation with using automation parameters in Reaper to make sounds move around and do different things. And there's all kinds of parameters for deciding how the sound is going to behave in this space. And that's what Doppler also refers to as well, is when sounds move around quickly, they do that thing with an ambulance, when an ambulance goes by. So that's for a mono. Let's go up, and it's asking us, what kind of thing are you using here, so that we know how to work with it. Here's an example of, this was a 4-channel. You can also use Ambisonic B format recordings. Place the B format from the input. So let's go to the effects. And so your input lets you know what's the arrangement, and that's where I didn't want to mention too many formats before there. Each format, second order, third order, Ambix, Fuma, like it goes on and on. But you basically tell it what do you got, what kind of microphone did you use, and so that it knows how to map the channels. And if I chose, let's go back to the mono one. Let's see the mono. I chose stereo, it now put two things here. So let's say I recorded something from a Zoom microphone and the portable recorder, and I'm trying to rearrange things manually. Like um, I can do that using this kinds of system where I'm able to or if my Zoom had 4 channels, I could spread things out in a different way. It's kind of a way of remapping things. So what happens is after you've done your mixing and your automation, everything, the the output using routing in Reaper, they get sent to this thing called the 3D master, a 16 channel um, file, and then in this 3D master, um, I'm now seeing okay, what's my input and what's my output, and there's a few options here. So what this will do is it can render so in Reaper um, you can render out um, 8 channel wave files, which we're not really used to, like, because we often work with like stereo files, but Reaper can actually do 9 channels per se if it's needed for the format. Because sometimes they do need 9 channels for one of the Ambisonics formats. Now I have that. Now if you get that file ready, you will now go into the encoder. You're not done yet. Let's go into the encoder. And now this is where we can take our it's saying where do you want the thing to go? So Facebook 360 video would be second order Ambisonics. YouTube is first order, and it even supports YouTube. You know, they want you to, they kind of wanted to make a one-stop shop to get all your video done in one encoder. And actually, the TBE format is interesting. That's I think native to Facebook Media, and it does things with head tracking movements, and it can change the sound based on how the head is working. And here's an experimental format, Matroska, 8 channel, and and you're gonna basically add your video and your audio file, and then you will there's the encode button down there. I can't get my screen to show you that, but at the bottom there's a green button that says encode. One last item quickly before I stop this part of the video is there's something called headlocked stereo. This is stuff for like if you have music playing and you also happen to have spatial audio, you can have some stereo music or whatever that just doesn't respond to any movements or anything. So yeah, that's how this one works.